What's up, Minnesota? Data here, and it is time for episode 8 of the Minnesota Wild franchise mode here in the year number 2 playoffs, the year 2022. Let's get hyped, let's get excited, because we are going for back-to-back Stanley Cup championships, and it all starts in round number 1 against the Chicago Blackhawks. In the last episode, we made some moves at the trade deadline to bolster the second line. We went out and got Patrice Bergeron and Ilya Kovalchuk from the Boston Bruins in a deal that really made that second line look good and gives us a +3 as well. And unfortunately, I did bump Mike Hoffman down to the fourth line. He had a bad season. We're probably not going to be bringing him back next year. So, it doesn't hurt my heart too much to put him down to the fourth line, but I'd much rather have Ilya Kovalchuk here, who last year in the playoffs was the Conn Smythe Trophy winner with 25 points in 24 games. He ended up signing with Boston. He scored 31 points in 60 games. Then he came back to Minnesota, scoring 12 points in 20 games, and that is where we stand with him. Patrice Bergeron, on this first ever NHL team aside from the Boston Bruins, he scored 16 points in 20 games with us with a -3. So the second line's looking pretty solid. Elias Lindholm there as well on that 1-year rental we have him on. We're going to send him back to Calgary next season. He has scored 38 points in the 52 games that he played here with us. -14 though, which is really weird and honestly pretty concerning. And we solidified the backup goalie position as we went out and got Cal Petersen from the LA Kings. He was dying down in the AHL. He was just rotting down there, and he had a very nice record. We decided to go take a chance on him, and he went 3-1-3 with a .924 save percentage and a 2.04 goals against average in 8 appearances. So Cal Petersen looking very good. Some may say better than Elvis Merzlikins. So we'll have to figure out who our starter will be. Our scratches, well, there's nobody because of the salary cap. We'll call up people if needed. And the first line is always Kaprizov, Monahan, Parise. Parise, 37 years old, but still getting the +3 on the first line, still an 83 overall, and still putting up numbers as he scored 77 points this season, 1 point shy of a point per game, highest point total since the 2009-2010 season with New Jersey. Aside from that top 6, we got Fiala with Danault and Greenway on the third line. Danault was just a one-season fill-in. We signed him for a 1-year contract. We have Marco Rossi coming up. It's like a 98.6% likelihood that he's not coming back next season, we'll say. And fourth line, Nick Bonino, Marcus Johansson, relegated also from the third line to the fourth with Bergeron and Kovalchuk coming in. And then Mike Hoffman, the guy, he scored 30 goals last season. We thought he was going to free agency. We decided to bring him back, and then he just, come on, 20 less points and 19 less goals. 1 less assist, but the goals really, I don't know what happened in the goal category for Mike Hoffman. On defense, Suter, Sergachev, Murray, Merrill, Botter, and Chara. Orville Redenbacher himself, the rookie. The defense pairings are looking very juicy, very nice. Mikhail Sergachev, we also got on an offer sheet this season. Murray, Merrill, Chara, all coming in free agency. 45-year-old Zdeno Chara. He's got a little gas in the tank for one more playoff run. And Ryan Suter, by the way, no spring chicken at 37 years of age himself. So in the last episode, the big question was, what do we do with Mike Hoffman on that fourth line? And also, what do we do with the goaltending situation? In Apo's comment here, part of it, he says, if your team isn't playing well, try to change it a bit. Hoffman on the second, Kovalchuk on the first maybe. But for the start, keep them as they are. And since Petersen is the hotter goalie, you should start with him. But once again, if he or the team isn't playing well, put Elvis in. Thank you, Apo. And over on the Discord server, our chief of staff here in the cabinet, Hobbsy, he left a big comment talking about the second line being a minus. Slightly concerning, as I mentioned, especially considering that Bergeron is so solid defensively. Don't think it's worth a change just yet. We go a couple games, see how we do, and then we go from there. Likely replace Kovalchuk or Lindholm with Fiala or Greenway, as Hoffman would not help the defensive part of it at all. So it's really it's going to depend on the first couple games of this first round. If there are offensive struggles, you could move Hoffman up to the top 6 to see if he regains his form, or in a desperate situation, you call up Rossi and give him a chance. So again, is it defensive woes or offensive woes? That'll depend on what kind of changes we make. I'd leave the defense alone. There's not much more to improve on there. They're playing well. As for the goalies, this could be controversial, but I'd give it to Elvis for at least game 1. He's been your guy, and he may have struggled down the stretch, but he's been the guy and deserves a chance. However, a bad performance, win or loss, Petersen gets the net. As for the Hoffman/Fiala decision, what's going to happen with them, I think it's a foregone conclusion that Fiala is staying, especially since he signed that extension heading into the playoffs. He did sign a 5-year extension with us. I'd look to move Hoffman at the draft rather than waiting until the preseason. Clears up money for free agency, clears up a roster spot, and helps get a better outlook on the roster for next year. Let's go Wild. Thank you very much, Hobbsy. Fully 100% agree with everything you said in that comment. As you mentioned, controversial though, Elvis versus Peterson. Elvis did not look good down the stretch. His numbers were not abysmal, but they were around 910. It went down to 905 as he was starting to struggle, and Cal Peterson was taking over the net from him. But we got to look at here are the playoff stats. Last year on our road to the Stanley Cup, he was solid at 15-5-2, 1 shutout, 907 save percentage, and a 2.66 goals against average. Cal Peterson has no playoff experience. Elvis has a ring. So it's undoubtedly the case that Cal Peterson is playing much hotter than Elvis at the moment. But just because he's our number one and just because he has that experience, I'm going to try and give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to give him the game one only. If no matter win or loss, if the numbers aren't good, we're going back to Cal. I know he's been hotter, but we're going to see if the playoff experience means anything with that 82 poise. Cal has 76 poise, so we'll have to see how that goes, and we will roll like that. So heading into round number 1, it's a tough matchup against the Chicago Blackhawks as we go and check out their lines. We saw their lines last episode, so let's just quickly go back over them again. DeBrincat, Strome, Kane, Nylander, Doc, Coyle, Kubalik, Aston Reese, Armia. We love you all, Armia. Chiasson, Shaw, and Nordstrom. Defense, Keith, Boquist, Bufflin, Zadorov, Dahan, and Murphy. And between the pipes, the playoff king himself, Jordan Binnington, backed up by former Minnesota Wild Devin Dubnyk, 6'6", 35 years old. Lots of offensive upside for that first line, especially with DeBrincat, Strome, and Kane. It's not going to be an easy series. They had 5 more wins than us in the regular season, as they had 47, 31, and 4 as their record. But we have some great playoff experience on this team. Guys like Patrice Bergeron. We have Stanley Cup champions as well. A lot of the guys from last season coming back. Other players fighting for their first Stanley Cup like Ryan Murray. So it's going to be a good one. Also, just a reminder, whether you're new to the channel or not, every playoff video is about an hour long. I always vary it up. Maybe it's 55 minutes. Maybe it's an hour and 18 minutes. Maybe even more. I always vary it up to make it a surprise. So we could get swept in the first round. This video is done in 15 minutes. But it's still going to be a black screen all the way to the end, just so that there are no spoilers. So you are enjoying it with me along the way, and you are just on the edge of your seat every step. So at the United Center now, in Chicago, big divisional rivalry, Hawks and Wild, round number 1, and our first step towards defending last season's Stanley Cup championship. Let's do it. Game 1, round 1, period 1. Oh, Zach Parise. 1-0 before this even got started. That was the first or second shot of the night. Let's just get through this first period, and it's 3-1. Let's go Parise, Kovalchuk, and Monahan. Woo! 3-0 right out the gate. Patrick Kane came back a couple minutes later. Power play goals for Monahan and Kane. Shots were tripling their shots, 18-6 at the moment. But it's only 3-1. Makes sense, tripling shots, tripling goals. Second period, 5-3 now. Bufflin scores twice shorthanded within a minute and a half. What? Not only did Bufflin score twice, and not only was it done in a minute and a half, they were both shorthanded. Huh? Monahan and Kaprizov scoring for us. Yeah, Merzlikins not looking good with 3 goals on 11 shots against him. 5 goals on 33 shots for us, though. Boys, let's just keep scoring, keep pelting Binnington, get us out of here, and Cal can take the net. There we go. Ryan Murray, 6-3 now. Power play once again. We're killing them in the shot category. Really putting on a show. Just Binnington really having to go back to his mentality when he won the Cup with St. Louis. But Kovalchuk, that's the second of the night. Dubnyk's in nets now. Oh, goodness. The floodgates are open. Wow, wow, wow. Patrick Kane, second of the night, but that's going to be all she wrote. It is an 8-4 victory for the Minnesota Wild. 1 shot shy of 50. 49-21, more than doubling the shots after 60 minutes and doubling the goals. 8-4 the final. 1 goal and 3 assists for Zach Parise. 2 goals and an assist for Ilya Kovalchuk. Welcome back to the Minnesota playoffs. And 2 goals and an assist for our first line center, Sean Monahan. Wow, you love to see that. 8-4, that is a huge victory in game number 1. Elvis, I love you, but Cal's going to have to take the reins for this one. Down the AHL, season's over, and it was a good season for Matthew Boldy and the Iowa Wild. Where are we? We just made the playoffs, actually, with 88 points, going 39, 27, and 10. Tough division, but it is a playoff berth nonetheless. As Elvis is going to get out of there. What was his save percentage like in that game? Elvis, 809. Yikes. I'm sorry. Cal Peterson's coming in for this one. I'm going to go ahead and turn off goalie rotation as well so I don't forget and get a nasty surprise. All right, we are good to go for game number 2. Still in Chicago. We put up 8 goals at their home arena. They're going to come out with something to prove in this one. So let's do it. Game number 2. First period, 3-1 Hawks, just as we expected. Patrick Kane scores his 3rd of the series, and then Dylan Strome adds a couple in the period. Kevin Fiala scoring the lone goal for us. 3 goals on 9 shots against Peterson there. 3-1 after the first period. Second period, 4-3. Okay, Kirby Dach makes it 4-1, but then Mike Hoffman scoring his first goal since before the trade deadline. He was at 11 goals at the deadline, and 20 games later, he was still at 11 goals. So that's his first goal in a very long time. And Kirill Kaprizov as well puts us within 1. So this game is still very much up for grabs. 4-3 Hawks, shots 20-19 in our favor heading into the 3rd. Power play Chicago early on, and it's another power play goal for Patrick Kane. He is lethal out there. Power play once again for Chicago, this time killed off. We're down by 3 halfway through the 3rd, and Philippe Danault brings us back within 1 with lots of hockey left to be played. 5-4 Hawks. Under 5 to go now. Will there be a late hero to tie this one up and send it to overtime? There will not be. It's not enough. 5-4 Hawks in this one. That 3rd period was devastating. Patty Kane, 2 goals and 2 assists. 2 goals and 1 assist for Strome. 1 goal, 1 assist for Dach. You hate to see that. 5-4 the final. As this series now tied at 1, and it will be a best of 5. You know, it was a lot of power play goals. It was a lot of Patty Kane. I'm going to stick with Cal Peterson in this one. Over in Iowa, we're taking on the Griffins, Grand Rapids Griffins. Very good team with a 47-25-4 record. But we got more important things to worry about here. Cal Peterson staying in. We're back at home. XL Energy Center. Let's just do it. Let's keep up the pace. We've been scoring well, just got to be tighter defensively. First period, 1-1. Patty Kane, there he is. Man, oh man. And Patrice Bergeron ties it up at 1 for us heading into the second. Second period, no scoring. Shots are 21-19 in our favor, but it is a low-scoring affair in this one. After 8-4 and 5-4, it is now 1-1 heading into the 3rd, and Dominic Kubalik will give Chicago the lead early on in the 3rd period. Shots pretty much tied. They're tied now at 25. Just about halfway through the 3rd. Can we break through Jordan Binnington? Power play 5-on-3, but it's killed off by the Blackhawk penalty killers. But then Patrice Bergeron, 2nd of the night. Just when we needed him the most. Under a minute to go, and we're headed to overtime. Wow. Patrice Bergeron, the hero of this one, whether we win or lose, as he scored the goal to tie it up in the 1st, and then the goal to tie it up in the 3rd with 3:45. Shots 36-30 in our favor, and we are headed to overtime. Look at Bergeron, by the way, in the Minnesota Wild jersey. Beautiful. Overtime in Game 3 of Round 1. Monahan versus Strome at the faceoff dot. Next player to score will put their team up 2-1 in this series. Ryan Suter, Kirill Kaprizov, 50-goal scorer this season, 50-plus goal scorer. Blocker save there by Crawford. Keith, Boquist. Now here come the Hawks the other way. It's Dylan Strome as he can't get through Ryan Suter, but now he regains possession. DeBrincat. Oh, wow. Oh, goodness. What a snipe from Alex DeBrincat. DeBrincat. What? Gotta see that one again. Check out the cat right here. Through traffic. Just bar down through traffic. Sheesh. Right through the glove of Cal Peterson. Disappointing here that Suter didn't get the puck off of Strome. He lost it, and then he regained it. That was weird. DeBrincat, the cat himself. See, he's coming in, hits the brakes. No one really wants to touch him. And then right through the legs of Kaprizov. Peterson never saw that one coming. And what are you going to do? 3 goals on 31 shots against Cal Peterson there. I don't know what we're going to do in the goalie category here. That was not a bad defensive showing, but 3-2 loss, and we're now down 2-1 in this series. Plus minuses, what's up? Merrill's a -2. I don't think I'm going to change him, though. Merrill's a -2, but everyone else is good on defense. We're going to keep it like that, I think. Cal Peterson, 859 save percentage through those 2 games. Elvis in that 1 game was an 809. I'm really tempted to go back to Elvis, but Peterson only let in 3 goals. It was that 1 game where he let in 5 that killed him a little bit. That's really tough. I think I'm going to stick with Cal, though. It's really tough, but I'm going to stick with him. We're not going to make any changes heading into Game 4. We got to tie this series up, though. Going down 3-1, you never want to be down 3-1. We're back on home ice. We're still here. Let's tie this series up. It was a tight one last time. Patrice Bergeron, the only guy who was scoring goals. Let's see some more offense from those top 9 wingers. First period, 1-1. Kovalchuk, there we go, on the power play. Zadorov scoring on Peterson, the defensive defenseman. 1 goal and 4 shots. 14-4. Come on. Second period, 3-2. We're doubling their shots, and we're down 3-2. Duncan Keith and Yoel Armia scoring for Chicago. Elias Lindholm for us. And shots are 22-11, but we're down 3-2. Come on, Cal! 3-2. Power play early in the third. There we go. Ilya Kovalchuk, Mr. Playoffs, ties this game up at 3. Thank goodness. And then Sean Monahan, the first line coming through. 4-3 Wild. 1 goal lead. More than doubling Chicago's shots. Under 8 to go. Power play Chicago late in the third. We kill it off. 3 minutes to go now. Still more than doubling the shots. And it will be enough. Thank goodness. Sean Monahan with the game-winning goal. Shots were 34-16. And we barely squeak out a 4-3 victory to tie this series up at 2. 3 assists from Sergachev. 2 goals from Kovalchuk. And a goal and an assist from Armia for the Hawks. Boy, yeah, I think we're going to go back to Elvis for this one, my friends. Elvis is back in the building. And Cal, I love you. You had a great end of the season there, but I don't know. You're not getting it done in the playoffs. I know I have you signed long-term, but this is not looking good for you. Cal, 849 save percentage. Yeah, we're going Elvis for game number 5 back in Chicago, as we will want to take a lead headed back home. You never want to be on the brink of elimination no matter what. So let's do it. Game 5 in Chi-Town. Elvis between the pipes. First period, 0-0. All right, still doubling their shots, 12-6. Second period, 2-1. Kevin Fiala followed by Ilya Kovalchuk. Man, this guy just loves the playoffs. He just eats it up. And Patty Kane getting the lone goal for Chicago. Shots 24-18 in our favor, but it is a small 1-goal lead, 2-1 in the third period here. As Chicago catching up in the shots, power play Minnesota, extended power play, 5-on-3! Extended 5-on-3. What is going on? How long of a power play was that? Hold up. Look at this. 3 consecutive minor penalties. A major followed by 2 minors. So that was 6 minutes of power play, not to mention... no, that was 7 minutes of power play. Not to mention a pretty long 5-on-3 as well. Sheesh. Shots are 35-22. Binnington standing on his head. 2-1 with under 5 minutes to go in this one. It's a goaltending duel for sure. With under a minute now, and Sergachev will add the empty netter to ice it. 3-1 the final. Shots were 37-27. We are just shooting up a storm out here. But Binnington made 34 saves, definitely earns first star honors. Elvis is back to his playoff form with 26 saves for him. And Ilya Kovalchuk, the game-winning goal. This guy wants back-to-back Conn Smythes. There is a reason we brought him back to Minnesota. 7 points and 5 goals in 5 games. Let's close it out at home, my friends. Let's just close it out at home in 6 games. At the XL Energy Center. Don't let them get their foot back in the door. Don't let them go back to Game 7 at home trying to finish it off. Let's do it right here. First period, 1-0 Hawks. Patty Kane, of course, on the power play. What is that, like a 7th goal of the series? Second period, 1-1. Sean Monahan ties it up on Devin Dubnyk, who's now in nets. Okay. All right, Binnington's not in there. Shots are 24-16 in our favor. 1-1 game, and Kirill Kaprizov puts us ahead 2-1. A huge goal on the power play. Another power play now. Let's make it 2. No, that one is killed off by the Hawks. Shots 30-21. Halfway through the third, hanging on to a 1-goal lead. Power play, Chicago and Kirby Dach. And then Joaquin Nordstrom. And then Bufflin. The floodgates are open. Power play. Oh, no. We fell apart. Oh, no. We just fell apart in the third period. 3 goals in 40 seconds. 3 goals in 36 seconds. Sorry, 37. 3 goals in 37 seconds. That's some sort of record right there. And then Kirby Dach to make it 4 goals within like 7 minutes. Wow. Wow. From a 2-1 lead heading into the third to losing 5-2. Shots were tied at 34 at the end of this one. Beyond disappointing. I don't even know what to say. And just like that, we went from almost being able to just sail into the second round to being on the brink of elimination here in Game 7. Oh no. Game 7, Round 1. Everybody looking good out here. Everybody's looking pretty good in that top 6. Maybe we move Kovalchuk up. -2s in here. The fourth line's not looking great. Mike Hoffman's not super strong defensively. Maybe we'll call up a better defensive presence. Kovalchuk, did he fit that first line? He does. Not as good as others. Parise down to an 82 overall, by the way. See, if I change up Kovalchuk and Kaprizov, it keeps the +3 on the second line. Kaprizov is a monster. So is Kovalchuk. What if we do this and then do this? No, that's not going to help. That's only gives +1, +1. Let's do this. +1, +3 with Kovalchuk on that top line. But then Kovalchuk's playing like an 84 instead of an 86. And Monahan and Parise like 88 and 83 instead of 90 and 85. But would the chemistry be good to get Kovalchuk in there? You know what? I'm not going to touch it. I'm not going to touch it. I'm going to keep it as is. +1, +3, -1, +1, +3, +1. Not ideal, but nothing really to change up there either. There really isn't anything to do. Elvis, 878. The only thing I'm going to do, I think I'm going to make a roster move. I need a better defensive forward for the fourth line. I think that is Fred Gauthier. Fred Gauthier has a solid defensive stats. I think I want to call him up. We could call up Zach Sanford. 85, 80, 86. 84, 87. No, I'd rather go Gauthier there. Marco Rossi, he wouldn't make sense for the fourth line. Yeah, we're going to call up Fred Gauthier. All right, Frédéric Gauthier, 6'5", two-way forward, 83 on the faceoffs, great defensive stats. We're putting him out there. Mike Hoffman, healthy scratch, 1 goal, 1 assist, -5 in 6 games. Very shocking. Don't know what happened, but here we are. Rest of the lineup's going to stay the same, guys. Rest of the lineup's going to stay the same. I'm liking it. It's just been, we got to be stronger defensively. We just got to get the goals, 5-2. The defense was strong until we fell apart, but we got to get more goals so we don't have to worry about that falling apart. Let's just hop straight into it. Game 7, Round 1 in Chicago. Do we keep the dream alive or does it end right here? First period, 0-0. Shots 12-10 for Minnesota. We're going to just simulate through the second and third instead of just skipping it. Here we are in the second. Early power play, and Alex Nylander will capitalize, and then Dylan Strome makes it 2-0. This game's half over, but Philip Danault, right before the halfway mark, brings us back within 1. We have some life here halfway through this game. Philip Danault, he wants the cup before he goes back to free agency. Playing against the team that drafted him back in the good old days. Was it 2011 that Philip Danault was drafted? Not sure. 2-1 Chicago, shots 19-16 for the Hawks, headed into this third and final period of the round, and Ryan Murray will tie this game up at 2. Both goals coming from free agent signings for the Wild here. This game's tied at 2 early on. Oh, that's huge from Ryan Murray. He is fighting hard. He had a great season. Under 10 to go. Will there be a late hero? Under 5. Next goal wins. Is there going to be anybody? Or, oh, no! Charlie Coyle? Oh, come on. The defense just falling apart in the third period. With 34 seconds left, we were about to go to overtime. And Charlie Coyle sends Chicago into the second round. We outshot them 30-25. Oh, Elvis, man. Elvis, you gave me a cup and then you let me down. I trusted you. What happened? Who were the plus minuses in this one? Third period collapse. Again. -1s for Gauthier. Of course, Fred Gauthier with 7 minutes of ice time, he's a -1. Monahan, Sergachev, Benino, Suter. They barely play. They play 7 minutes a night, and they still can't get out of the plus-minus hole. Benino, I don't know if Benino's coming back. Benino, Hoffman, they're out of here, I think. Johansson, he played well. Man. Kovalchuk, I'm sorry, Kovalchuk, we wanted to do it for you. Patrice Bergeron, we loaded up at the deadline with 2 huge players, but they couldn't get us out of the first round. Elvis, an 880 save percentage. What a disgrace. Binnington, 28 saves. It was just, we got shut down by Binnington, my friends. That was it. It was all Binnington. 8 points in 7 games for Ilya Kovalchuk. You absolutely hate to see it. Bergeron and Kovalchuk both scoring 8 points in 7 games. Monahan and Sergachev going a point per game. Lindholm and Parise 1 under a point per game. Kaprizov, Fiala, Danault, all with 5 and 7. Suter 4 assists. Hoffman 2 points. Benino a -3 with 1 assist. You're done, Benino. You're done. Everyone thinks you're a good defensive forward. We're done with you. Jordan Greenway 1 assist in 7 games. That's a killer. Leon Botter was a +4 in his rookie season playoff here. Elvis, 878 save percentage, 3.26 goals against average. He comes back to bite us. Retribution from how much we hated him in NHL 19. Peterson, 849 with 3.63. The goaltending is what killed us. The scoring was there. Kane, how many goals? 7 goals in 7 games for Patrick Kane. Strome with 10 points. Dustin Byfuglien, 83 overall. The guy should be out of the league. At least I lowered him from like an 87 to an 83 in free agency, or 80, whatever he was. I lowered him down. I took down his skating from like 4.5 stars or 4 stars to 3 stars. I lowered his shooting a lot. I lowered his puck skills a lot, but still 5 points in 7 games. Nordstrom, 4 points in that 4th line. Good for you. And Binnington, 909. Not even that good. He wasn't even that good. 909 save percentage on 3.28 goals against average. Any contracts to offer before we head into the draft here? Bergeron, he wants the extension, but he would be wanting $7.5 million. I don't think we can bring Bergeron back. We know what we're doing on this team here with the second line. He could come back in case Rossi isn't ready for the second line, but we'll deal with that. I'll wait for your comments on that one. Chara's not coming back. I would be very surprised if he didn't retire. Philippe Danault, he only fits the 3rd line, and I don't think we're going to keep him for that price tag. Kovalchuk, we can't re-sign him on that price again. We'll try to get him next trade deadline again, maybe. He wanted 4 point something last year, ended up signing for 2.5, so who knows in free agency. Zach Sanford, he's not coming back. Nick Bonino, he's not coming back. Honka, I'd like to, but I don't think he wants to. Gauthier doesn't want to. That's pretty much it. So we'll try to get a little more juice out of this episode. We're going to sim to the draft. We're going to fix up the scouting. I'm going to check out the progress reports at the end of the season. We'll see how Iowa does as well in their series. It's true, Iowa. They're going to Game 7. Or Game 7 against the Grand Rapids Griffins. And it's a 4-1 loss. Great. They're done in the first round as well. Awesome. 6 points in 5 games for Zach Sanford. All right. Let's head to the draft lottery. We'll see you at the retirements and all that stuff once we have a Stanley Cup champion. Well, at least we can say that we lost to the eventual Stanley Cup champions as the Chicago Blackhawks went on to win Lord Stanley. Makes sense. It makes sense, as the winner of that matchup in that first round, it seemed, was going to go on to win the Cup. Still a few days out from the draft, but now we're able to go check out the awards for this season. Stanley Cup to the Chicago Blackhawks. They've been wanting another one, and it was well earned. President's Trophy went to the Florida Panthers, and it was the Hawks versus the Sabres, really, in the Stanley Cup final. Individual awards, Connor McDavid wins the Art Ross. Hart goes to Jack Eichel for the 2nd straight season. James Norris goes to John Carlson with his 79-point season and 74 assists. Lady Byng to Evgeny Kuznetsov. The Calder goes to Podkolzin, created prospect over on the Vancouver Canucks. He's going to be awesome when he comes into the league. sometime soon, I believe. Conn Smythe to Patrick Kane, very understandable there. Vezina to Darcy Kemper, Mr. Darcy with a huge season over on the Coyotes. He also captures the William M. Jennings. The Masterton to Zadorov, for some reason, it's always some random player, like Jarmelson the year before. Jack Adams goes to the coach of the Coyotes for the second straight season as well, that's pretty rare. Selke to Ryan O'Reilly, Ted Lindsay to Jack Eichel for the second straight season. But here it is, the Morris Rocket Richard to Kirill Kaprizov with his 56-goal season. Very well earned. Any awards down in Iowa? There's Corey Perry. Congrats, Corey Perry, on your awards. Nothing down in Iowa. So it was quite the run for the Hawks. After they took us down in 7, it was easy sailing through the second and third rounds, sweeping the Dallas Stars and taking out the Winnipeg Jets in 5. But then it was a nail-biter as they won a 7-game series for the Stanley Cup against the Buffalo Sabres, who had won their previous series in 6, 6, and 5 games respectively. So it sounds like it was a good playoffs. I got to give it to them. I'm sure all the fans were happy this year in the NHL. A very fun playoffs that ends up in the Chicago Blackhawks winning the Stanley Cup in 7 games. Let's see, what did Patrick Kane do to win the Conn Smythe Trophy? He ended up scoring 17 goals and 26 points in 23 games. Very well earned for him. The whole team, Boquist especially, wow, 20 points for him as a defenseman. Strome, 22. And Binnington with a 922 save percentage. His numbers got a lot better after playing us. 2.41 goals against average. 3 shutouts in 16 wins. Got to give it to the Hawks. Draft lottery results here. The New York Islanders jump from 7 to 1. St. Louis stays at 2. And Nashville jumps from 6 to 3. LA dropping from 1 to 4. No picks were traded in that first round. Everyone keeping their own players. Retired players. Is he calling it a career? Yes, he is. Zdeno Chara at the age of 45. That last playoff run was enough. Drafted in 1996. He retires in 2022. Dustin Brown, David Backes, Andrew Ladd, Brent Seabrook. A lot of classic names up here. Peter Mueller. Peter Muller. Look at that beard. Just came out of hibernation. And he's still alive. For the goalies, we got Corey Schneider hanging them up. Going 170, 159, and 58 in his career. Victor Faust. Justin Peters. Jeff Zatkoff. Wow. These are some great names right here. Corey Schneider, though, I believe he finished off in the minors with the Islanders farm team. So those are retirements for 2022. Draft interviews, I don't think we're going to use those this year. We don't really have any, those players are coaches. Just Chara, now a scout. We could hire Zdeno Chara as a scout. I didn't check the retirements of coaches, though. I forgot to check that, and scouts. And here we are at the draft. So heading into the draft, scouting, I'm pretty happy with the scouting this year for the most part. It's curious because, like, look, for example, wow, this guy's going to be great, medium franchise. Look, for example, at USA East over here. I have every single player and their player type, except for this one guy, Lovejoy. I have every single player uncovered. Even this guy is 1 bar away from being fully uncovered, all the way at 837. All these guys fully uncovered. But then you go over to a place like the SHL, and I have this guy here ranked 18, and he's only 2 bars uncovered, even though I've scouted him like 4 or 5 times. Go to the Dell. This guy, 1 bar elite uncovered. I've scouted him 6 times, I believe. 5 or 6 times at least. I won't say at least, but I believe it's 5 or 6 times. And yet they're only 1 bar uncovered. So I guess it just has to do with the quality of the scout. They're like C+ rated scouts. So I don't know. What are you going to do? Either way, we don't pick for a while. If we check out the draft board here, we pick at 21 in the second round. So around 50, the early 50s. And then in the third round, the early 90s. So early 50s and early 90s are where the 2 spots where we're drafting here. Early 50s... got some uncovered guys, 2 bars low elite, 2 bars low elite. Some guys are kind of uncovered. 2 bars fully uncovered, low top 6, 2 bars medium elite, 3 bars medium top 6, not bad. Loshing. And then over at rank 90-ish, we got 1 bar elite, 1 bar elite, 3 bars low top 4D. Yeah, I'm going to have to be taking some guesses out here. So like always, it's pretty weird. This guy is fully uncovered as a high top 6 forward, even though I'm pretty sure I didn't scout him very much. Meanwhile, this guy who I scouted a bunch of times is only 1 bar medium medium starter. So it really is a difficult system to master, and hopefully as the scouts get better, it will become easier. Just sorting by potential here, there's this guy Norm Pitt, who's a gem and guaranteed low elite, so we'll try to grab him late in the draft. Oof. E-rated skating. You hate to see that. 5 years away, but he'll have potential. Dan McElrath is also listed as a gem. He's going to go in the first round likely. Going down, high top sixes. So this guy could be good at 73. This guy at 60, like we said earlier. But back to the central scouting ranks here. There's a really good draft class here. So Nicholas Enqvist is going to go to the Islanders, first overall, medium franchise, A+ league, good stats, similar to Owen Nolan, NHL ready. He's going to be like an 80, low 80 overall out of the gate. Wouldn't be surprised even if it's as high as 84. Shane Wright, Brad Lambert. But the guy that I'm actually really interested in is Wilson Ritzi from Switzerland. He is ranked 5th. He had 22 points in a B-rated league. He is NHL ready, similar to Patrick Kane. And playmaking wingers are pretty nice to have. So this guy, if I were to trade up, I think this would be the guy that I'd want to get. I know it would be really tough to trade in the top 5, though. Mike Hoffman does not have a lot of trade value. We don't have a lot of pieces to move. So that wouldn't be easy to do. Aside from him, high top 6D. You hate to see that. Aside from him, there are some other people interesting on. We got Jameson Whitaker, who is like Theo Fleury, good stats. George Huskin, good stats. Both similar to Theo Fleury. If you're a small guy, you're similar to Theo Fleury. That's pretty much how it seems to go. Low elite, Charlie Linden there. Yeah, so there's a few options. Medium top 6, Jacob Galina, similar to Jaden Schwartz. Yeah, there's definitely options up here. I don't think we're going to be going for any goalies, I don't think, in this draft. I don't think there's enough to really take a chance on anyone. Maybe Jamie Toms, but I don't think. Maybe Backlund, Frederick Backlund. But I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts about the draft. Progress reports here. We always like to check those out at the end of the season. Forgot to do it last season. Bergeron dropped to an 89 overall. He was at a 90. If we just sort by here, Parise has dropped to what? He's at an 85 overall, but it says he's dropped 24 attribute points. Okay. Kirill Kaprizov up to an 89 and now has gone to high elite potential. Oof, we love to see that. 89 overall. Great puck skills. Look at the shooting category. Boy, oh boy, he's going to have a big third season next year in his 89 overall self. Bergeron down, Murray up to an 85, Rossi up to an 81. So he could definitely be that second line center. He could be the second line center next season. Have to check his line fit. Monahan 88, Sergachev 88, Hoffman down to an 84, Greenway up to an 83. We want him in the top 6. Sanford, whatever. Suter 88, Kovalchuk 83. Goalies, yep. And now we just check out in the system who has grown in our system. Damian Hunt, medium top 6 D potential, is up to a 64. Lodina 71. That's actually let's sort by overall. Boldy up to a 79. Beautiful. Volkov 78. Now, where are our prospects? Sokolov still at a 76. Belpedio 76. Hunter Jones up to a 75. That's nice. Kovanov up to a 74. Shaw at a 73. Addison 72. Ryan O'Rourke 72. He's going to be signed to an entry-level deal. He just had 63 points with the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds down in the OHL. Very nice as a defenseman. He has that top 4D potential as well. And that's pretty much it. The goalies, yeah, our goalies. Want to see how Morozov and Wallstead did. Morozov in the KHL, we'll say. He didn't have a great season. Not as good as the year he had prior to that one. Yeah, not awesome, but still, an A+ league for a 19-year-old, not easy. 61 overall. And Jesper, he also did pretty similar to the season before. Now up to a 63. So if you want to see an idea of the trade values that we have, here they are. If we were to try and go get that 5th overall pick or something, it would cost a lot. We could send Lindholm back to Calgary and then take what we get from Calgary and flip it to a team for the 5th overall pick. Greenway's value is growing. That's nice to see. But aside from that, I don't know if any of these guys can really get moved. Maybe Kovanov, but I like him, and I've seen him grow before. Wouldn't really want to move him. Parise, how many years left does he have in that contract? He has 3 more years. Oof, 3 more years. Parise. If we were to move him, though, I don't know. Even though he's been playing well, that is a really bad contract. Bergeron, we could trade his rights for a pick. We could trade Danault's rights for a pick. We could try and trade Bonino and Hoffman all the way down here. Whew, that guy has no value. Why? Doesn't make sense. Like, I know he'd have very low value, but not such low value. You're going to tell me that this guy, 77 overall, that I signed in free agency for Iowa, is going to be more valuable? Goalies, here are the values. No one's really gone up. It's still a weird system for goalie trade values. Another question is, what do we do with Capo Kakinen? Because he is signed for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more seasons at 0.925. Meanwhile, we also have Cal Peterson signed for 1, 2, 3 more seasons at 0.850. And I don't know, I really want Hunter Jones to be getting starting minutes down in Iowa, especially he was playing so well and he had to get bumped out a little bit when Kakinen got sent down. But I really want Hunter Jones to be the starter down there. He was a second-round pick back in 2019. So maybe Kakinen goes, maybe Peterson goes. Not totally sure on that one. So I could use some help on that as well. But I think that's pretty much it, my friends, unless there's anything else with coaching staff or something. We could use a NHL goalie coach, I think we need. I guess he retired or something. Do we hang on to Popovich? He's been here through it all in the last couple seasons, and he still has a good team fit, and he likes the big players. But with some guys out the door, maybe that will affect that team fit. So, hey, thanks for watching. Tried to squeeze a little bit more out of the episode that we could there, but it was a sad 7-game loss against the eventual Stanley Cup champion Chicago Blackhawks. Congrats to Chicago. They deserved it. But we're down a first-round pick. We got rentals who are going to free agency, and we've got to figure out what is this team going to look like heading into season number 3. So I look forward to hearing all of your thoughts, whether it be in the YouTube comments section or on the Discord server. Make sure you check out the link in the description to go and join. All the links in the description as well for everything else that you need to find. So I'm looking forward to this off season. Let's reload and go on another run in season number 3.